amazing viewers. Thank you so much for joining me on my program once again. I appreciate you wherever you are connecting from. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please kindly subscribe to my channel. Click the notification bell so that you'll be notified each time I upload a video. You will be among the first to receive it. Thank you so much and remain blessed.
So let's start from that last headline I mentioned. Nigeria
well, at least you are
better off.
smiling now. That's maybe something good.
Maybe it's sarcastic, actually. Nigeria better off. Nigerian economy better off.
I'm not the only one smiling. Any Nigerian that would have read that headline as you read it this morning, listening to Buhari saying that Nigeria better off, the economic situation in Nigeria is better off now than in 2015. There's really nothing anybody can do at this point. It's too late. Buhari has 7 months to go, and he's still insisting that he's done very well. The economy is better. At a time, even when the newspapers are reporting that a 12.5 kg of cooking gas is, of course, it's now about 12,000 naira and all of that. Of course, petrol, you can see there's queue. To get here this morning, I drove with the last fuel in my tank. You could see the quarreling going on at the Supreme Court. Justices accusing the CJN of corruption and divert. And then the president insists that he's doing very well. Well, I'm sure by next year, Nigerians will decide who has done better or who has failed with their ballot. The good thing now is that there's a lot of youths engaging in continuous voters registration, trying to get their voters card. I would just hope that they will use their cards, voters cards, to decide who has been lying all this while and who has been very sincere with the people. It is very, very sad. The state of the economy is parlous. Even when I do not agree with the World Bank, IMF, they have been part of the problem in Africa. Always trying to, if you read Walter Rodney's book, How Europe Underdeveloped Africa, all the strategies of how the West have been breathing down the neck of African leaders to take on policies that will impoverish their people, only for them to turn around to release reports about poverty capitals of the world and all of that, when they themselves are the protagonists. They are the architects. They are the ones that cook these figures, create the environment for poverty to exist in Africa. So these are the issues. Newspapers this morning are replete with all kinds of stories, and it's not about just picking one paper. I have read all the stories. They come with all kinds of diverse.
Let's look at this issue of, the continued voter registration exercise that is ongoing. Just like you already adduced to, a lot of young Nigerians are desperate to get their PVC so that they can have a say in what happens in the country come 2023. However, one of the papers, I'm not sure which one, reported that January is too close for collection and distribution.
It's the leadership newspaper.
Leadership newspaper, yes. January too close for the collection and distribution because effective distribution is not guaranteed in January. And from January, it's just a few months, about 4 to 5 months before the general election. So.
No, it's actually February.
February, I mean, to the elections. Handover, so just about a month. Really, anything can happen between that time. It's INEC. Don't you think INEC should be reconsidering the time of distribution? And why does INEC need such a long time? Because I also went for a recapturing because they couldn't trace my registration, my details after I'd already registered, and I'm told to come back in 5 months.
Wow, 5 months?
5 months to
after
get my
election,
PVC.
of course. Maybe after elections.
So I'm wondering, Ihu, what are the challenges INEC is going through? Why does it take 5 months for people to get their PVCs after capturing and registration?
Well, the situation is a double-edged sword. It's two ways. First, before anyone tries to blame INEC, you said you went this week or so to try but this process has been on. Almost 2 years now. Last year it's been on. INEC encouraging people to go for continuous voters registration, and of course they won't open the portal where you don't need to visit any INEC office. Just go to the INEC portal and then you know what to do. If you want to recapture, if you're a fresh registrant, what you are supposed to do, where you have to go to, and all those things are there. But the attitude of Nigerians is such that we try to wait until the last minute. Everybody just bombards the place. That is one
one of the
factor
challenges,
responsible for, you could see the delays and the huge population around the different INEC offices and the registration centers. The other one is even INEC itself, that do not have enough manpower and they do not have enough centers, to, for example, in Delta State, I'm from Okpe local government area. They have only one continuous voters registration center, in the whole of Okpe local government, and that is in Orerukpe, the capital of Okpe. And you have over 300 villages and communities. Everybody have to travel all the way to go to that place. So I do not understand, because like I said, I just returned from Delta, where I was also trying to monitor some of these things, including the NIN, national identity number registration. You could see people almost running it like POS, but you go there, they capture you, then it's not entered into the national database. They charge money, and then they just do these things, they do fake capturing, and nothing happens. They are not going to give you any slip or any ID card at the end of the day. So it is akin to, maybe that is what INEC is trying to avoid, but INEC would have recruited ad hoc staff for this purpose, and then give maybe a timeline for it. But the good thing now is that yesterday, the House of Reps are asking for a 60-day extension to enable more Nigerians undertake the civil continuous voters registration.
I think that there's a little bit also more, because I inquired at the point where I was asking, why does it take that long? And one of the things I gathered from my inquiries while in the INEC office is that after the capturing, the printing of these PVCs is central. It has to go to the headquarters. So from everywhere around the country, after the capturing, the printing, just the printing, goes to the headquarters. And imagine that process is centralized like that, it certainly is going to cause some difficulties. So isn't it also time for INEC to reconsider decentralizing the issue of, printing of these PVCs at just the headquarters of INEC?
Yeah, I think that is the lots of us as Nigerians, where we try to run a unitary system of government, where everything has to be done in Abuja. I remember when Lagos was the headquarters, was the capital city of Nigeria, everything was done in Lagos. Now that we moved to Abuja, you could see Abuja becoming congested. There is no reason why NEC, for example, cannot decentralize to the 6 geopolitical regions. To say, okay, if for the purpose of trying to control, to do command and control of what happens, not to, for certain elements not to infiltrate the system. Maybe they want to have effective control for the efficiency of the entire exercise. But you can also trust your own staff. If INEC has regional offices, you could have these things at the regions, the north central, northeast, northwest, south, southeast, southwest, like that, such that everybody in the entire southwest do not need to come to Abuja, and the southeast, they don't need to move into Abuja, and that is really a big challenge. I think so. It's also a problem of trust. The trust deficit is so high that people just feel that if you do that, some politicians, some persons might hijack the process. But in trying to safeguard the process and centralize it, a lot of Nigerians are disenfranchised and they are suffering. Like yourself, who tried to, if they ask you to come back 5 months' time, in June, it means that they are talking about December, January. When and of course, there's no guarantee that when you even go back 5 months' time, you are going to get your
I'm going to make sure I get it.
So it's a challenge.
Well, Igor, there's 29th of this month, there's supposed to be a court decision on following what happened with Serap on this issue of PVC. The legislators are talking about a month. Serap and others, about over 100 others, are requesting for 3 months extension of these exercise. But we'll see how it pans out. Just a day to the end of the 30th of June date that was already given by INEC. We do not know if the courts will decide to extend or if to end on the 30th. But many Nigerians are hoping that it's
a fundamental rights issue. People are entering the 18-age bracket every day, and so that's why INEC is a continuous voters registration. But how how continuous will it be? At what point will INEC draw the line so that they can also tidy up their database and then prepare a voter register?
3 months.
I think I agree that yes, 3 months.
That if you have 90 days before
July, August, maybe by September the window can close.
Well, we'll see what happens on the 29th. But let's look at some other issues. The issue of fuel subsidy ego. And you just mentioned that you just drove down here. I'm wondering how you go back. I hope you won't push your vehicle. Or how do you go back? You have to go buy black market. Is that what you're going to? But really, that's what's happening right now. And the marketers have come out to say that they can't sell below 180 in Lagos. Some of them are, but there's conflicting instructions from these marketers. And you have the FG also coming out this morning to say that they cannot sell beyond 165. And the issue of fuel subsidy ego. If the marketers are saying, you know, what's on ground is above 165, they can't get the product, the issue of fuel subsidy, and the president is saying no, they won't be, the subsidy won't be removed.
I think Buhari and his team have lost control of the economic situation. That's what is responsible for all of these pains and agony that Nigerians are passing through. Don't forget, at the onset of this administration in 2015, part of their campaign in 2014 really was that the PDP was running a fuel cartel, that there was no subsidy anywhere, that all those monies were just being siphoned and diverted by the PDP. You know, and that when Nigerians trust them with power, that they were going to reverse all of this. And there's no subsidy, and that people will just drive into the filling station, buy their fuel at very considerable and moderate prices. Buhari has increased fuel prices twice since he came in 2015, and now he's saying that once it must be 165 naira. You are seeking to control market forces and determine prices over a product that you cannot produce. You know, we still import finished products. At the time, at a period that even the government itself approved $1.5 billion for the turnaround of Port Harcourt refinery. Nigerians at that, I think that was last year, you know, opposed the release of that fund. They just felt that it was going to go down the drain. About 10 months, 12 months on, the year after.
We hear work is going on. That's what.
Well, the work will go on to the government hands over, and then work will still be going on, right? And that is the fraud and the deceit that we talk about. You see, Nigerians now know better. It is sad. Nigerians now know better that we didn't only enter a one-chance bus, that the bus has actually taken us into Sambisa forest, and then where Nigerians themselves do not even know their fate, because in Sambisa forest anything can happen to you. We are no longer running a sane and predictable government, where prices, you buy something in the morning, you go back to the market in the evening, you are confronted with a new price. So it simply shows that it is now to your turn to Israel, everybody is to himself. At a period and at a time that the national minimum wage remains static, the value of the naira has been so depreciated. It's almost, if you have a 1,000 naira now, it's not going to buy anything for you. Maybe a loaf of bread. A loaf of bread is now about 800 naira, 900 to 1,000.
It depends on the kind of bread you're buying, because there are some that are up to 1.5.
Exactly. No, for common people like us and other Nigerians, forget that I'm wearing a suit this morning. We can't afford such luxury. So we buy the normal bread that in Lagos there's this agege bread that people buy, which they think is a common man's bread. But go and buy agege bread now; it's expensive, even in Lagos. So we are in trouble. Look at the queues. Look at what Tribune. Look at the photographs in front of Tribune this morning. Look at the queues. I saw the queues myself. It's been on in Abuja in the last 3 months, and it is not abating. It's getting worse. So productivity in Nigeria is going to nosedive. And one of the presidential aspirants, Peter Obi, talks about returning the country to production and productivity. That's really the pathway.
Another very important conversation is the ASUU strike. Federal government has done nothing to warrant suspension of strike, is what we saw on the front page of the New Telegraph newspaper. I mean, it's almost 4 months now, Igor. And you're wondering, the federal government said, I think a few weeks ago, that the issue of education, ASUU issue, is complicated. I believe that this administration knew that there were a lot of issues, you know, when they stepped in, just like you said. But I am wondering, what is so complicated in the education sector that the federal government is unable to resolve?
I'll quickly respond to that. When you are clueless, everything becomes complicated. When you have no idea about what you need to do about anything, it will always become complicated.
Is there a situation of not being clueless or about the agreements?
Well, I think they are clueless. It's not about agreement. Agreements were signed in 2015, 2019.
Difficult agreements, they say.
Now, but who signed them? Were they blindfolded to sign?
Not this administration.
But they have held they've sought a review. I remember in 2016 or 17, it was reviewed. ASUU has been saying that this, and then they are seeking a second review. And ASUU said, no, we can't continue to extend the goalposts when you know, agreement has been reached. In any case, what is the federal government offering? What is it putting on the table? Nothing. The former Minister of State for Education, Emeka Nwajuba, who then of course, abandoned. Of course, maybe they say it's complicated, so he just felt the issue cannot be solved, so he went for the presidential race. The president is seeking to replace him now and all that. The thing is this: everything, all the sufferings that Nigerians are going through has become a new normal. We are getting used to it. I think people are even forgetting that ASUU is on strike, except parents, apart from parents who have their children at home. I have one at home sitting down. Or it's just
because the ones in the private,
he's looking so confused, and I say, well, you have the opponent to quickly rounded up, you know. And again, you can't blame the students who are sitting at home. You can count how many strikes that have taken place under this administration. So nobody's speaking to it now. We are now in the era of politicking, and it may just appear as if before the universities will reopen, maybe next year when a new administration comes into effect. That would be very sad.
Very sad indeed. Igor, just before we go, just to touch on the Supreme Court breaks silence on Justice's petition against CJN and says that protest letter akin to dancing naked at Market Square. And then another news to note is housemaid sentenced to death for hanging, by hanging, I beg your pardon, for killing Igbinidio's mother. We all know that story, and she has been sentenced.
Justice is properly served in that case. That young lady was very wicked, killing an old woman who has been taking good care of her. She herself confessed that the woman is very nice, very kind, but she turned around because of greed, personal greed and all of that, did that, so she deserves to actually die. Those who kill by the sword deserves to die by the sword. On the CJN thing, I'm not expecting anything less. How was Justice Walter Onnoghen removed? No. It is all part of the conspiracy. Get Onnoghen out, put this man. As this man came, you can see the gangatwan problem that the Nigerian judiciary has been plunged into. Even the physical appearance of Justice Muhammad, it does not inspire any confidence. You see a man that is so drab, I'm sorry to say, so drab, and does not inspire anything, does not inspire hope or confidence. And this is the first time, it is unprecedented. It is historical that justices of the apex court
will complain.
We complain about the #1 judicial officer in the country. And I expect the National Judicial Council this morning to do the needful, query the CJN and summon him. If need be, he should be forced to resign, because the issues raised is not about telling your colleagues, or these are justices. It is
to be heard and not,
yes, that they are dancing naked. Now, what kind of puerile, plastic and cosmetic explanation
we have to leave it here. Thank you very much, Igor Akeriga, for finding time to be with us this morning, analyzing the major stories on the front pages of the Daily this Wednesday morning. Thank you again, Igor.
See you later. It's always a pleasure.
Many thanks indeed, Igor. All right, we told you earlier during the introduction of the program that as part of activities marking the 7th anniversary of the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari, his media team, in collaboration with a consultant, will be unveiling legacy projects undertaken by him in a series of online publications. Now, we will be looking at these. It's called Buhari Government Has Zero Project, with a hashtag. About 1,321 projects underreported, expected to be brought forward, and we'll be looking at all of this morning. We'll be joined to discuss this, a chieftain of the All Progressives Congress, Dr. Ogaga Fowodo, will be joining us to look at this issue. He'll be joining us virtually, I believe. Also, a member of the People's Democratic Party, Anthony Hilebo, will also giving us his views with regards to these projects. Where are they? If they are being done, or where they are, and what Nigerians need to know about all of this, you'll find out when we return.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Thank you so much for your patience to watch from the beginning to the end. I hope you have learned something from the video you have just watched. The video you have just watched is to bring information to your doorstep and for educational purpose. It is not to demonize anybody. Let us watch continuously and see who can be able to make a sense out of every nonsense we are seeing. We must continue. We move. It doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter what they say. They will kill us. We will kill them. At the end of the day, Biafra is here. Thank you for watching. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please kindly subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell so that you're notified each time I upload a video. You will be among the first to receive it. Thank you and remain blessed. Bye-bye. See you again.